Good reg. Lynette Oxley here for SHAC Tactical TV. I'm here for Gosa Girls on Fire and for the 16 days of action for no violence against women and children. I'm here today with Salome De Villiers. She's an extraordinary woman. She's one of our poster girls on one of the for one of our first hunt exes that Gosa was involved in. She's a professional hunter and a firearm lover. So, Salome, welcome. Thank you very much for joining me out of Steenbokpan in Limpopo.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me.
You're a South African-born girl. How did your love for firearms and hunting started? Because usually very pretty girls like yourself, that's why people don't like you getting involved in hunting. You know, you can have all of the arguments about the ethical, that it's better than abattoir meat and stuff like that, but people just react on an emotional level. So tell me your story.
Okay, so I was born and raised in Vanderbijl Park in Gauteng, so I was your typical city girl. But we've always went on youth trips to Drakensberg Mountains, Tonkwani. We've always been out in nature, and I've always had a passion and a love for being outside and for the outdoors. So that's where I felt most alive, and that's my happy place, if I can say.
I know exactly what you mean.
And I met Marcel when I was 18, I believe, and then he took me on a hunting trip to the Kalahari, and that is where I first shot my first animal, which was a springbuck, and I loved it. I've never been introduced to firearms before or hunting in any sort of way, but I think the combination of my passion or my love for the outdoors and then now hunting, then that's where it all went uphill, if I can put it like that. So that's where everything started. And and Marcel has been involved in the hunting industry. He's always been designing websites and brochures for the outfitters. So he's always had a lot of knowledge about the hunting industry. He also helped with the PH school. So he had a general knowledge about hunting. And I've also got introduced to the hunting world like that. I'm a graphic designer. I've designed brochures and websites, developed websites for outfitters, a lot of outfitters in the area. And that's where I gained knowledge about the hunting industry. And it wasn't up till, I would say 3 or 4 years ago, where we decided to actually start our own hunting business and go into this industry ourselves and be actually part of the hunting and not the marketing around it.
It's Marvel Africa Safaris, am I correct?
Yes, Marvel Africa Safaris.
So if anybody looks for a very nice hunting outfitter, Marvel Africa is the place to go.
Thank you.
How did you get involved? So you're a professional hunter. There's not many professional hunters. It's not an easy qualification, if I'm correct. I don't know. I know a little bit more about the Zimbabwean side of it because I met a lot of PHs there. But it's not an easy thing to do. And you are professionally qualified as a PH, am I correct?
Yes, you're correct.
Tell us the process. What do you have to do to become a professional hunter?
Well, you don't have to do anything. Actually, you have to apply to go on the course. It's a 10-day course where you spend all your time there, where in the mornings you would go out at 6 o'clock and you would spend 2 hours on the shooting range, practicing shooting, target practice, and then also discussing the law around hunting, hunting with international clients, and all the other basic stuff around that, like photography, lodging, I did say photography, but everything around hunting. And then horn judgment, spoor identification, bird identification, tree identification. So all of that you learn on the PH school. And then you would write a test, a practical test, which would be the shooting. And then you would also write a test about law and the general, how can I say, well, the general stuff about hunting. And then if you qualify, you get your permit. And then, yeah, but it's not easy. I have to say, I've been the only woman in a class of 10
Nice.
men. Guys. So it was a bit scary, I would say, but I really loved it. I liked the challenge and I learned a lot. But I wouldn't say going on PH school would make you're now a professional hunter. That's not what you are. It's just a piece of paper. I would say the experience only comes being in the field and spending time with clients and learning all that stuff, because there's so much more to learn than just the little bit of information on the PH course. So yeah, I've been a PH now since 2013, I believe.
So that's quite some time that you've been in the field. And what is very interesting for me, and what people don't understand normally, it's not about just shooting the animal. You talked about knowing the spoor, to identify birds. So a lot of times it's a industry that actually contributes to nature conservation, because people come here and they learn about the bush, they learn about the animals, the spoor, what animal to identify animals. So it's, you know, the actual shooting of the animal is not the main thing. It's part of the whole experience.
Yeah, and also when we get clients, we tell them we are trying to sell an experience and not that split second where you shoot the animal, because it's all about the experience. It's being in the bush, it's being able to experience the wildlife, being in God's creation, and having a appreciation for all of that. And this all builds up to that one moment where you get that animal, and not even to say a trophy like let's say a 56-inch kudu, but an old bull with character, and he's done his part in contributing to the gene pool. It's not about for me, it's not about the biggest and the greatest. It's about the experience and the character and all of that. So we are selling an experience and not the shot, because everybody's selling the same product. But to me, it's about the experience, definitely.
It's absolutely like that. My husband, if he gets chance, he goes and hunts. But for him, it's more about just being out in the bush alone. He's tracking the animal. He doesn't take usually anybody with him, but it actually relaxes him. So it's that whole experience, just being part of nature. And a lot of time he comes back not having hunted anything, but it's that experience which is absolutely important.
Definitely, I agree with you on that. Definitely.
Tell me a little bit more. You say you also love other firearms. So big hunting rifles are quite intimidating, especially the larger calibers. There's way to shoot it. I always hate when I see videos of guys letting ladies shoot big guns and not actually telling them what technique to use, etc., etc. And then then the kick of the rifle is not nice, and that puts them off for life. There's no reason for a lady not to be able to shoot larger calibers if they handle the firearm in the correct way. Tell me a little bit about which calibers you like, and a little bit more about how which guns you own yourself.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I do not have a lot of knowledge about calibers, but I've hunted from springbuck to eland, the biggest plains game species, with a 30-06.
Okay.
So that's been my main rifle, my main caliber go-to. I've also had, with a firearm, getting my licenses for my firearms, you also spend time on the shooting range. So I've been fortunate enough to have Dr. Barnard, who is also a very big firearm enthusiast, showing me the road.
Ellis Ross Firearm Festival, am I correct?
Yes, Alice Ross Firearms Festival.
You
I've
used to do
actually,
that.
with Marcel, being involved with that Firearms Festival for about 10 years, I
I'm
think.
so sad that it's not happening anymore. Hope it's going to happen in the future again.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will once everything gets figured out. But yeah, we've been spending a lot of time on the range. But it's all about how you handle the rifle, the correct way to stand. And actually, I love big calibers. I've shot with a 50 cal. I was expecting, when I took the shot, I was expecting to fly 10 meters backwards. But no, I'm not scared of big calibers. I love rifles. I love the bang. Firearms I own is a small 6x35 pistol. It's like a tiny little thing. For self-defense, then I've got a Rossi, and yeah, I believe that's all. That's all. Otherwise, I would hunt with Marcel's rifles, my husband's rifles, the 30-06, and yeah.
She had an 11-year-old girl shoot a 50 cal. So yes, people must not tell me that ladies can't shoot large guns or large calibers.
No, we can absolutely do that.
Tell me, what else are you doing in your life except running Marvel Africa safaris? Is there anything else? Are you involved in any? You mentioned some filming that you're doing. Can you maybe tell me a little bit more about that?
The filming was actually in 2013. It was when we decided to start Marvel Africa safaris. We had John Wilson approaching us, asking if we could make a deal for him to be on a TV show. So we would give the animals and we would get the marketing side out of it. So, and that's where he met us. It was actually a TV show about him hunting in Africa. And he met me and he asked me, but wouldn't you like to hunt an animal? And I said, yes, of course, I would love to do that. I love hunting, why not? And so he filmed that hunt. I was actually hunting a zebra, but I ended up hunting a gemsbuck. And so that's where the little thing started growing into bigger things. And John actually sent me to PH school to get my qualifications. And he also sponsored my spiral horn slam, which was also filmed, and it was aired on Outdoor Channel and Sportsman's Channel.
Explain to me what that is, because that I don't understand. What
Okay,
is a spiral horn slam, you say?
Yes, well, it's actually a nice term, but the spiral horn slam is the kudu, the eland, the nyala, the bushbuck, and let me see. Yeah, it's only the 4 animals. Eland, kudu, nyala, and bushbuck. That's the 4.
The ones with spiral horns.
That's the spiral horns. They're all family. So outfitters market that as the spiral slam.
Okay, now I know. I've learned something today.
Yeah, so they filmed that hunt, and it got aired on Outdoor Channel and Sportsman's Channel as well for the Trophy Quest TV show. And that's where a lot of people came to know about me and our company as well. And even Wildland magazine did a 3-page spread about me and the hunting and that TV show as well. So yeah, that's a filming we've done, and that's about where it stopped. But I believe that gave us a foot in the door into the hunting industry, and people recognizing us and deciding to give us a chance to hunt with Marvel Africa.
Absolutely fantastic. Yeah. Tell me, what would you say, because I've actually seen a couple of times, I follow you on Facebook, I've seen a couple of times people making really nasty remarks about hunting. What would you say to those people?
So everybody has a right to their own opinion, and I would respect that. But if someone is against hunting, you have to tell me why, and you have to give me the opportunity to explain to you why I hunt. And if you then revert to attacking my character, then I'm not going to talk to you any further. But if you're open-minded to me trying to explain to you why we hunt, then I'm sure I can convince you that the reasons why we hunt is absolutely necessary.
It is.
But the attacks and stuff, no, it doesn't bother me.
Absolutely shouldn't. Shouldn't.
No, not at all. Not at all. I wouldn't stop hunting. There's a reason why we have to do that. It's to conserve the animals.
Absolutely.
And to be able to, for my son, if he grows up, to also have the opportunity to experience what I've experienced, and also appreciate nature and appreciate all the animals. So it doesn't bother me at all. Not at all.
Yeah, I've actually seen places that stopped hunting interferes with the whole eco solutions. As soon as you put up fences, you actually stop the way things used to happen. So if you look at Botswana at this stage, because they haven't culled elephants for a long time, the elephants has taken over, and the whole ecosystem is in upside down at this stage. If you have a look at some of the male lions now have to hunt elephants because there's no bucks left, because there's no grass and stuff like that left. The elephants have basically just taken out everything in the bush. So yeah, if you put up fences, you have to control wildlife. That is just one of those things. And if you think about it, as I said, trophy hunting brings money back into conservation, which is really important.
Billions of rands.
Billions of rands. And it's not just that, as we talked earlier about, it's the ancillary stuff. So a guy would come out and hunt, and maybe his wife is not a hunter, but she comes with him and she enjoys game drives or photography or something else. So money comes into the country. The entertainment industry, if you have a look at, they go to restaurants, etc., etc. So it's the whole thing actually contributes to money coming into the country.
Oh, definitely, and job creation, and there's so many sectors that gains from international clients and hunting in general. So no, absolutely contributes a lot.
Salome, tell me, what would you suggest, if you've got a message for young ladies out there that would like to become professional hunters, what would your message be?
I would say go for it. If that is your passion and your love, go for it. I know at this stage it's still very male dominated, but I believe anything can change. I believe women can contribute as much to hunting as men can, and nothing against men. We all share the same passion. Like me, I share the same passion. So don't be scared. Just go for it. And then I've had a few ladies who became PHs ask me, so I'm a PH now, what do I do from here on forward? And I always suggest to them, go get a job at an outfit and get to know all the workings behind the whole hunting industry, like admin, taxidermy paperwork, running a camp, seeing how to deal and handle clients, and then from there on you build your career from there on. And there are ladies, international clients, who would rather prefer to hunt with women PHs. So there is a market for that. So if you take this seriously, there's definitely a future for women in the hunting industry. There's definitely a future for women.
Absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much, Salome. Really, it was a real pleasure to speak to you. Hope we can see each other maybe at the next Firearms Festival again, if it's ever held again. Hopefully the lockdowns all over the world stop soon. Thank you very much. This is Lynette Oxley. Thank you. Sorry. Lynette Oxley for SHAC Tactical TV. I'm a Gosa girl on fire. I'm not a victim. I'm every woman.
Hi to the hunting and tourism community. Today I'm coming to you to ask for your support. All of us realize with the current COVID-19 crisis there is a need all over the world. We also see the overwhelming support and community projects that support so many people around the world from different walks of life and industries, and we are grateful that there are still people out there who can help and support where there is a need. Unfortunately, due to years-long campaigning and pressure on governments and companies around the world, but especially in Africa by the opposition groups to sustainable use of wildlife, there is a group of people in the world that are forgotten, a group who have not been accounted for and who are just as affected by this pandemic, if not more. These are the individuals at the front lines of conservation, the guys at the front line of anti-poaching, the people at the core of the protection of our wildlife heritage. The people who makes a living in nature, work with nature every day, boots on the ground, and has a passion for nature while sustainably utilizing it. These people are the professional hunters, the hunting guides in Africa, and their direct staff. Our project specifically focuses on South Africa-based individuals with a hope to reach outside the borders of South Africa if resources allow. One of the most affected sectors of the world economy, and specifically the South African economy, is the tourism industry. Even before lockdowns, this industry has been crippled by travel bans and fear by tourists for this pandemic. This affects professional hunters, trackers, skinners, chefs, cooks, administrative staff, lodge staff and many others. Based on an average calculation of 377 hunting companies who provided data and are members of the FASA Professional Hunting Association of South Africa, the average amount of people implicated in this survey in the member base is 7,000 plus individuals, breadwinners, or families directly employed by this sector currently at a complete standstill and in crisis. These 7,000 families does not account for members of other organizations and unaffiliated members also active in the industry. This number most likely represents 1/3 of the real impact. In South Africa and other parts of Southern Africa countries, the response from government was hard lockdowns. We are not talking voluntarily lockdowns, as many places in the world are experiencing them. South African government has implemented a lockdown which can only be compared to a state of martial law, a full restriction on movement and restricted to your home, and are allowed only essential services, which basically includes food and medical services. This reaction has resulted in a desperate situation where only people employed in the essential services sector are working, and the tourism sector has been in full